Nan. My coworkers dared me to ask my boss out, and she said, "I've been waiting for you to say that." The dare started as a joke, one of those harmless end-of-the-day challenges people throw around when they're tired and giddy from too much coffee. But the moment the words left my coworker's mouth, my heart dropped straight to my shoes. "Ask her out," he said, nodding toward the glass office at the end of the floor. "Your boss." I laughed it off at first. Everyone did. Because who in their right mind asked their boss out, especially her? Her name was Emily Carter, calm, professional, respected by everyone. She was the kind of leader who remembered your birthday, asked about your parents, and stayed late to help you fix mistakes she didn't make. The kind of boss people trust, the kind you don't cross lines with, and definitely not the kind you ask out on a dare. But something about that moment stuck with me. I'm not the kind of guy who takes risks easily. I grew up believing you earn everything quietly, respect, love, chances, by working hard and staying in your lane. I'd been at the company for 3 years, slowly building a reputation for reliability. Emily hired me when I was barely holding myself together after my dad passed away. She didn't know it then, but that job saved me. She gave me time when I needed it, covered for me when I messed up, never made me feel small. That's how feelings sneak up on you, not loudly, but gently. I told myself it was just admiration, gratitude, respect, until that dare. All evening, I couldn't focus. I kept replaying moments I'd brushed off before. The way Emily stayed behind after meetings just to ask how I was doing. The coffee she brought me on late nights. The soft smile when our eyes met just a second longer than necessary. Still, I convinced myself it meant nothing. I was wrong. The next morning, my coworkers wouldn't let it go. They teased me, sure. But there was something else too. Encouragement. "Worst case, she says no," one of them said. "Best case," another added, "your life changes." I didn't know it then, but that sentence would echo louder than anything else that day. That afternoon, Emily asked me to stay back after a meeting. My stomach twisted. Her office felt smaller than usual. Sunlight poured through the windows, highlighting the faint lines of tiredness on her face. The kind you get from caring too much. "Everything okay?" she asked. I nodded, then shook my head, then laughed awkwardly. There it was, the moment. I thought of my dad, how he always said kindness is courage in disguise. I thought of all the times I'd played it safe. And I thought of the dare, not as a joke anymore, but as permission to be honest. "Emily," I said, my voice barely steady. "This might be inappropriate, and I understand if you say no, but would you like to get coffee with me sometime? Outside of work?" Silence, the kind that stretches your soul thin. Then she smiled, not politely, not professionally, but warmly, almost relieved. "I've been waiting for you to say that." I stared at her, convinced I'd misheard. She laughed softly. "I didn't want to cross any boundaries. You work hard, you're kind, and you show up for people, even when no one's watching. That matters to me." My heart was racing. "But," she added gently, "before anything else, there's something you should know." She told me about her divorce, how she'd poured herself into work afterward, how loneliness can hide behind success, how she learned to be strong, but forgot how to be open. "I didn't want someone who needed me," she said. "I wanted someone who saw me." That was the twist I never expected. We weren't just two people flirting across a power dynamic. We were two humans, both careful, both healing, both waiting. We started slow. Coffee turned into walks. Walks turned into late-night conversations about fear, faith, and family. At work, we stayed professional. Outside of it, we were honest. Then came the moment that changed everything. One night, Emily called me, her voice shaking. Her mother had been admitted to the hospital. She didn't ask for help. She didn't even say she needed me. I went anyway. I sat with her in that sterile waiting room, holding her hand as she cried. Not as my boss, not as someone strong, but as a daughter who was scared. That's when I understood what love really is. Not grand gestures, not bold confessions, but presence. Weeks later, her mother recovered. Life settled, work continued, but something had shifted. At a company event, Emily stood beside me, not above me, not apart, just beside. And in that moment, I realized the dare wasn't the turning point. Kindness was. Her kindness when she hired me. My kindness when I stayed. The courage to be human with each other. We don't talk about the dare anymore. We talk about building something real. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do isn't asking someone out. It's letting yourself be seen. And sometimes, when you finally take that step, you realize they were waiting for you all along.